Leading into this segment with a good motto. If it takes forever, I will die trying. We don't give up here on the Patrick Riggins Show, and you shouldn't either. We are here every week on the Libertarian Lighthouse Radio Network and News Talk 98.7 WOKI. You know, I've been reading, and I'm sure you have as well, about this typhoon that devastated the Philippines and the response to it by our country and others. One story I read was complaining about how the Chinese government hasn't given enough money to the Philippines. What I think is instructive is that's how it should be. The Chinese government has the correct idea, but probably for the wrong reasons. This disaster has resulted in almost $100 million being sent into that area, the bulk of it coming from us, the United States. That doesn't count all the other resources being sent there in the form of U.S. military flights and other manpower as well. Altogether, the United States supplies over $1.4 billion in international food aid each year. $1.4 billion. And we have people in this country going hungry. Not starving, mind you, but hungry. And this money isn't coming from the government. It's coming from you. It's your money providing this. The government doesn't have any money other than what it takes from others, mainly you, the taxpayers of this country. This is something the government should not be doing. It isn't right to do it within this country, have our taxpayers forced to pay the medical bills, the food bills, the housing bills. We're forced to pay those bills, and now we're forced to pay the bills of other people all around the world. One of the big questions that has arisen from this disaster is whether to start buying the food we are supplying closer to the disaster site or continue to ship it from the United States as it's done now. Of course, everyone growing and shipping food within the program here in this country, it want things to remain the same. One quote from a story in the New York Times was from Danny Murphy. He's a Mississippi farmer who's also president of the American Soybean Association. He said the food aid program was fine the way it was and didn't need changing. His quote is, "For the most part, it has worked well for 60 years, Mr. Murphy said. It provides jobs in this country, and people get the food they need. Why change that?" Well, for one reason, Mr. Murphy, you're living off the backs of your neighbors. Oh, sure, it provides jobs because the government is using the money taken from other taxpayers to buy your product and ship it overseas. Apparently, he doesn't mind that at all. But I bet you $100 if you asked him if he should be taxed and the money given to someone in the housing project in his city to pay their bills, oh, he'd object to that. But he'd probably be all for the government buying his soybeans and giving them to those same people in the housing projects. You see, as long as it benefits him. And this is the problem in America. Too many people find it real easy to spend someone else's money. Now, if Mr. Murphy wants to donate money or food to those victims of that typhoon in the Philippines, well, then go right ahead. But no, he'd rather you be forced to do it as well through taxes as long as he benefits from it. Because after all, if he doesn't take the money, someone else will, right? So that makes it okay. The money the government is taking in the form of taxes should be used to benefit the people of this country. In a perfect world, most of what government is doing would be taken over by private industry anyway. But I'm a realist. I don't live completely in a fantasy world. I know that's not happening soon. But if the government is taking our tax money, is it too much to ask that it be spent on us? If I want to donate to causes helping people around the world, that should be my option. I shouldn't be forced into this charity by tyranny. This, you will give money, you will help people, and you will help the people we say you'll help. Now, you can go over and above that, but you will be spending money to help those people the government decides you'll be helping, whether you want to or not. See, the government is afraid you won't act in the manner in which it requires you to act. That's what this is all about. You won't give money to help those poor people, so the government is going to make you do it. It does this through using part of your tax money for charity. And the people excusing this behavior They don't trust you to spend your money in the way they deem is correct either. They'll say, oh, Patrick, you're being cold-hearted. We have to help these people. Well, fine, then help them. Take your hard-earned money or your easy-earned money, whatever it is, but take your money and help those people all you want. But they don't want to do that. They want to spend your money. And because neither these liberal busybodies nor their buddies in government think you'll do that, then they'll make you do it through taxation. Because, Patrick, morally it's the right thing to do. Helping these poor people all around the world. I've said it many times before on this radio show. You start talking morals and abortion or gay marriage, and these people will scream at you not to impose your morals on them. But when it involves spending your money overseas, or even spending it on a charity within our country, well, start talking about restricting that, and you're called cold-hearted and hateful, and if that doesn't shut you up, they'll call you racist. You see, liberals and big government types, and that last group includes a whole lot of conservatives, they're all about you supporting their morals. But they don't want to support yours. Again, you can't be trusted to do the right thing, to spend your money in the way they think is correct. Because of that, you have to spend it in ways they see as correct and moral. You see why we need to have all this moral judgment out of government, both sides, conservative and liberal? Right now, the total cost for damage from this typhoon is estimated at $288 million. That's it. We have billionaires who could stroke that check out tomorrow. Why aren't they doing it? Because they want the governments around the world to take your money to send over there. No, I'm not sending my millions. That's mine. But our government sure needs to take your money and spend it over there instead of making improvements here that directly affect your life. You know, for a little perspective on this, Forbes magazine has a list of the 50 richest people in the Philippines. The top person is Henry Sy, S-Y, and his family. Together, they're worth $12 billion. That's billion with a B. You have to go all the way down to number 17 before you fall out of the billionaires. And that's just the Philippines. Why aren't these people stepping up and taking care of all this? After all, they live there. Why not care for their neighbors? Why are we having to do it? It's as I just said, so much better for the American middle-class taxpayer to foot a large part of the bill than for them to spend their money. No, that's your responsibility. You need to be taxed and your money sent overseas to help all these poor people who've been battered by this storm. Don't expect those millionaires and billionaires in the Philippines to do it. Nope. You working middle-class people in the United States need to have your money spent on that instead of improving the roads in your neighborhood. Why should you get to enjoy the benefits of paying your tax money when so many people around the world are suffering? Excuse my language, but this is what's pissing people off at government and the governments and these rich people all around the world. You're expected to be taxed at, 20% or so, maybe even more. So 20% of your money is taken from you, and part of it's sent around the world to supposedly help all these people in other countries. But if, for example, you took 20% of just one of those billionaires' dollars, you'd already be at $200 million and only have $88 million left to raise. So where are all these rich people all around the world? Why aren't they stepping up and paying for this cleanup in the Philippines? If you've been listening at all during this segment, you already know. Much, much easier to take your money than for them to have to spend theirs. On top of it not being the right thing to do, legally or morally, this forced giving, it all comes back to we don't have money for all of this. We're already spending more money than we're taking in. Already we're doing this. Everyone knows it. Everyone acknowledges it. It's no secret being kept by the government. Everyone inside and outside this country knows we're running huge budget deficits. And even with all this knowledge, we still have people wanting to send all of this money all around the world. We don't have the money. It's no different than if you're paying a mortgage and car loans and other debts and someone says, hey, can you donate to this charity? Well, you have to tell them no. It's not because you're a bad person that you don't care. You just don't have the money. Oh, we're already up on the half-hour break here. Hey, when we come back from this bottom of the hour break, we'll try to work in a little bit more on governments. We'll hit on Obamacare, and we'll talk about how to keep a clear head during all this mess in our country. When we come back here on the Patrick Riggins Show on what else but the Libertarian Lighthouse Radio Network.